Second pre-season friendly has finished. FC United of Manchester 4, Altrincham 1, and Phil Parkinson, the Altrincham manager, joins us. Phil, firstly, interesting selection tonight. Clearly we a little bit must have had a few tired bodies from Saturday, I think.
Not from Saturday, but we've got a few knocks and niggles from training, so it's caught up with us a little bit. As you could see from the lads who were sitting in the stand, they should have been on the pitch getting minutes tonight. So I think we're 5 or 6 of them down. But it was an opportunity for trialists, an opportunity for academy players, the younger players, some of the lads who want to stake a claim, who probably don't think that they're going to be starters. So it was a really good opportunity for a number of them. And unfortunately, they couldn't grasp it tonight. So, it was, as you said, selection-wise, we had what we had. But I still expect them to impose themselves on the game a little bit more so than what they did tonight.
I thought there were some very positive aspects to the first half play in terms of the way you want the team, you and Neil want the team to play. And we certainly created a few chances, but we didn't test the keeper until late in the first half. He's made a really good save from Keelan Swales. And Keelan Swales, he was certainly one of the bright sparks of the game.
Absolutely, he showed flashes of what he could do, and he took his goal really well, didn't he? I mean, we missed a sitter with Sam Roscoe right at the start as well, where he headed it or volleyed it over. Had a few block shots, and they defended really well. I think that where FC are and where we are, which sounds crazy because obviously we're full time, so people will say we shouldn't be behind any team who's part time. But when you're part time, you can get a lot more done. Believe it or not, in a short space of time, and you don't have to worry about the amount of distances lads are covering. We have a programme where we're gradually getting them up to where we need them to be, and you always know it can be painful at times, particularly when you're playing the calibre of FC United, who a lot of their lads will want to be sitting where our lads are, so they look really hungry and up for it tonight, and Renault's got them playing some really good football, and that really showed for me tonight in terms of we've got to pump it up the next couple of weeks, which we know. But you can see if we push them too hard, like I said, we've got 5-6 lads sitting in the stand with knocks and niggles, so you've got to be very careful what you're doing. You can't run them like you, and don't get me wrong, we don't run them without the ball, but you can't work them as hard as what you can on a Tuesday and Thursday at times, and then lads will go and do the additional themselves. So they're always, at times, part-time teams will be ahead of a full-time teams in terms of fitness-wise, and you see some really strange results pre-season because of that. But ultimately, if we stick to our programme, believe in what we're doing, come the start of the season is where we should see the fruits of that labour, not right now. So I never want to get beat. I never want to get beat by that scoreline, particularly from a team who's 2 leagues below us and a local rival. But ultimately, we've got to see the bigger picture here. We've got to make sure as many of our players are fit, because we have got a small squad, and that kind of highlighted again the exposure. If we get a significant amount of knocks and niggles, how thin we will be. But we are what we are. We've invested heavily in the team this season, and unfortunately we've not been able to showcase them investments yet. So hopefully when we can get them up to speed, and they're not going to be there for the next couple of games as well in terms of fitness. So I don't want people thinking as soon as Chris Con-Clark takes the pitch, or Justin Amaluz along with Justin Donowa, them kinds of combinations, Joey Jones on there with an Isaac Marriott, those types of combinations, that everything's going to click straight away, because they've got to gel together as well. So this pre-season's vital for us to make sure we remain focused on the programme that we believe in, the system of play that we're going to stick to, and it's down to players to take them opportunities. So tonight I think a few of them probably had their eyes open to what it looks like at this level of football, because some of them won't have played MPL, won't know how desperate those lads are to play for an Altrincham, and I'm sure it'll be something that will stay with them if they come across a team like this again. It'll be a great experience for them to understand how hard they've got to work, how good they've got to be on the ball, and what's expected from them, because a lot of them will be looking at an FC United. Could they get a loan move to them, the younger players? And they'll be found wanting at the moment. So that gives us an idea of gauging levels for where we send our young players as well.
It's interesting what you say about the difference between part-time teams' preparations and full-times. I think it was Alan Devonshire last week was talking about this in terms of Maidenhead as a part-time team, completely different preparation schedule. And we've learnt from last year in terms of our training schedule has changed.
It has, not dramatically. It's just you learn every year, so it doesn't look like we've learnt many lessons because we've been beaten 2 games. But as much as I want to win every game, if we lose every game pre-season and have a much better start than what we did last start of the season, then we will have made a step in the right direction. But ultimately, it always comes down to, no matter who you're playing, can you get your best players on the pitch? If you're just purely looking at the win, we're nowhere near that. And we won't be, because we're rotating minutes, giving lads experiences, trialling players, progressing, developing young players. So pre-season's got to be an element of that in terms of moderating minutes and making sure we don't overload players. But ultimately, we just want to win every game. I want my best team, my best players on the pitch all through pre-season. But then we won't have probably half of them come start of the season. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very measured. I'm not saying we know everything or we're going to get everything right, but we're being very, very careful and calculated with the lads that we've got, and hopefully come the end of pre-season and the start of the season, we'll see the benefits of that patience and perseverance with what we're doing.
Good to see some very young players out there, Edson Kata and Sharif and G. We saw Joel Bailey on Saturday. So whilst it's not ideal from a selection point of view, it's a great opportunity for them.
It is, and I thought Edson and Sharif really showed up very well. I mean, you've got to remember they're coming into their second year of their academy programme, deserved the chance to be with the first team, and I thought they didn't disappoint in terms of what they're capable of. Very tricky winger, Edson. Sharif, a bit of that Chris Conn magicry in the 10 role when he's on it. So yeah, the players were really excited to see what they can do, and I thought the first years did well as well. It was a tough ask for them tonight, because FC are going to be right up there. They always are in the NPL. I mean, it's a big club, do you know what I mean? So they're going to be up against it, and it was a good test for Tom Jones, for Louis Williams, for Owen German, to sort of see where they sit with that, because these are the clubs, like I said, they've got to be looking at, could I get into an FC and really kick on from there? But I think they've got to be pushing a bit harder in everything that they're doing if they want to get to this level of football first on a loan move for them.
Once again, we've come up against a side that was highly motivated, played at a high tempo and played some terrific stuff.
They did, they were great, and like I said, this for me is the hardest start to pre-season that we've had in terms of types of teams that we're playing against, where we're up to in our programme. It's going to be really testing for us, and then it gets even harder, doesn't it, with Stockport? So they're a team that have the opposite end of the spectrum, where they can have 2 or 3 excellent, outstanding players in every position. So you can see here tonight where we've got 5 missing, we've playing some academy players, youth team players. They'll have a second string 11 that's just not going to be far off their first string, and that's the ultimate goal of where you'd love to be, but we're certainly not there yet. So we're a tight knit squad. We'll all learn a lot from tonight. A lot of them will be hurting as well, and to get any kind of success, you have to fail at times as well. You have to see where your weaknesses are, and you have to identify that, and we'll go through it. We brought the VO tonight, so we'll show them the game, which we didn't do at Lancaster, so we'll be able to show them this game and highlight the bits that they need to do better with, and they will. We know what we're doing, and we'll get them there. Might be a bit painful in certain games during pre-season, but that's what pre-season's for. It's got to hurt if it's to heal, and we'll get them where we need to be. We always do.
And it'll be nice to get back to the J Davidson Stadium on Saturday. Stockport County, I think we're taking them on a little bit earlier than we did last year, and they were clearly some way ahead of us last year, and looked to me like probably going to go directly straight into League One. That didn't quite happen for them, but they're a formidable outfit.
They're frightening, aren't they? But that's what hopefully our lads can raise their levels, knowing what they're coming into. But again, as much as I'd love to go toe to toe and put the strongest 11 out, if they're not right, then we won't, and we'll have to make sure we're as strong as possible for as long as possible. But ultimately, we've got a set amount of minutes that we need to get in the players' legs to ensure that we're going into our next run of fixtures. So we've periodised the whole pre-season. We know exactly where we're up to. I'd love to run them more and do more in terms of the physical stuff, but we've got a programme that we truly believe in, and we'll stick to it, hopefully it will serve us right come the start of the season.